Ford refuses to settle for second place in the midsize game. The Ranger has been trailing the Tacoma and even the Colorado for years. But the upcoming 2027 overhaul feels like the moment the blue oval signals it's done messing around. With all the upgrades, this truck isn't just catching up, it's taking the spotlight away from everything else. So if you're planning to buy a new rig in the next few months, hold off. By the end of this video, you might just have a new favorite. Join us as we explore the world of wheels. Subscribe now and buckle up for the adventure. Mid-cycle update. The truck world moves fast, sometimes faster than buyers expect. The current generation of Ranger only hit the scene not long ago, yet Ford already has its next refresh lined up. It's not the kind of makeover that'll stop traffic, because it's simply too early for anything dramatic. Expect subtle tweaks, the kind you notice after a second glance, but nothing that erases the truck you already recognize. To be fair, the 2027 Ranger could use a little polishing. The front fascia has room for a cleaner light signature, and the grille could pick up a more confident shape without going full monster truck. Inside, Ford might finally tighten up the dash materials and smooth out the user interface lag. They should also fix those small but annoying storage quirks that leave owners improvising spots for phones and keys. Even the ride quality could benefit from a touch of suspension retuning to calm down the chatter on broken pavement. Still, the real story sits under the hood. That's where the 2027 Ranger is going to deliver changes that actually matter. The sort of updates that can shift a truck from pretty good to okay. Now we're talking. Hybrid truck. A hybrid powertrain isn't a nice to have anymore. Tacoma changed the whole conversation, and it's grabbing attention for a reason. If Ford wants the Ranger to stay in the game, it can't ignore modern trends. A hybrid setup isn't just about fuel savings these days. It's about torque, drivability, and giving buyers more options without forcing them into anything. The blue oval already has the hardware sitting on the shelf from other models, so sliding a hybrid into the 2027 Ranger wouldn't be a moonshot. A punchy electric motor helping the gas engine will give the truck the low-end grunt it's missing, especially with a trailer on the hitch or a bed loaded down with gear. And if Ford decides to go a step further with a plug-in hybrid, that's where things get interesting. A small electric-only range would cover the stop-and-go commute or the morning school run, while still leaving the full gas engine ready for weekend hauling. It doesn't need to be flashy. It just needs to make the Ranger feel stronger, smoother, and more modern without complicating the ownership experience. And a hybrid powertrain checks every one of those boxes. But let's remember, trucks are workhorses first. That's why the next change we'll talk about is likely the most important one for the upcoming pickup. Ranger Super Duty. Here's where the company has a real chance to shake up the midsize segment. The Ranger Super Duty is not a fantasy build or a wild concept sketch. The thing already exists in Australia, towing numbers that make American truckers grit their teeth. Over there, the Ranger can yank up to 10,000 pounds. That's creeping into half-ton territory, and it's exactly the kind of capability buyers here keep asking for. The frustration in the US is pretty loud. Truck people know Ford has this tougher Ranger sitting overseas, and it stings a bit that we are still stuck with the regular version. Bringing the Super Duty variant to the States would instantly flip the script. It gives Ford a direct angle to outshine the Tacoma, Colorado, and anything else that exists in the midsize world. Release date and price. Ford's timing looks pretty clear. By the end of 2026, the updated Ranger should be rolling into dealerships ready to show off everything it's been working on. It'll grab attention for sure, fresh powertrains, a sharper cabin, maybe even that long-awaited Super Duty flavor. But predicting an instant knockout win is tough. The midsize segment is crowded and shoppers are picky. The Ranger will have to earn every bit of momentum it gets. What we can say with confidence is that none of these upgrades is coming for free. The current Ranger already sits on the upper edge of the segment, and the refreshed version is almost guaranteed to push higher. Expect the base model to climb a few notches, and the hybrid setup won't sneak in under 35 grand. As for the Super Duty, if Ford brings it stateside, it's going to land squarely in premium territory. So the 2027 Ranger is going to shine, but with a bigger sticker on the window. Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you next time.